Of felons. Uh, I'm going to start today talking about a guy by the name of Jive Roberts. You may want to look him up, Google him, Jive Roberts. Uh, Jive was a wild card, man. He was quite the crazy fucking honky. And apparently, somebody sent me word last week through the comments that Jive had passed away recently in the Federal Medical Center in Springfield, Missouri. He'd be about 80 years old right now. So I went to the inmate locator website and I put in his name and all the information necessary, except for his number. I never knew his number, but you don't need to. Uh, and nothing popped up. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, whoever you were who sent me that information, if you're watching, please let me know how you found this out, where you got the information, and yeah, I just need to know, because it seems very strange that it's not showing up. And the only reason would be if he were in the witness protection program or something like that. And I'm pretty sure that's not the case. All right, Jive wasn't a rat. In fact, he told the judge when he pled guilty to six counts of conspiracy to commit murder in the name of the Texas Aryan Brotherhood. Uh, he wanted them to keep the record open and not to so that anybody who wants to look it up on Pacer or whatever you know avenue you want to look it up on, to see that he did not cooperate. And he brought that out in open court when he pled guilty to and he got 30 years for being one of the generals in the Texas Aryan Brotherhood and calling a shot on six murders. Most of them, I think, were happening in the streets. I don't know, maybe some in the prisons. I haven't got into the indictment that deeply yet. Anyway, uh, Jive Roberts and John Greshner were good friends. I mean, they did some crazy shit together, and hopefully, I get John on to tell you guys the stories. And yeah, and he didn't have time to do it today, but I will say this. Oh, and this is about yesterday's video. I want to straighten another little thing out about Ron Crowder. Uh, and this is what John just told me. John says that Ronald Crowder and Cadillac Smith were rec partners in I Unit in Marion. And they were boxing, play boxing, sparring, friendly, and and for some reason, Cadillac, who was quite a bit bigger than Cockeye, he just went to the body and just fucking beat him down real bad, beat him to the ground, and that wasn't part of the big bargain there. That wasn't what it was supposed to be about. He just he really he hurt Cockeye, and he hurt his feelings because Cockeye trusted him, and and thought he was a friend and a homeboy, and and Cadillac, being Cadillac, you know, uh, just turned the tables on him and beat him down like a dog. Okay, and Crowder didn't like that. Okay, he felt some type of way about that. Okay, as you would, I would also, if we were in his shoes, right? Uh, so when I tell you that he did not avenge the death of Cadillac Smith, well, think about that. You know, he didn't kill any white people. You know, there was no response to Cadillac's murder carried out by Ron Crowder. Apparently, he didn't care for him that much. And as I told you guys yesterday, he said, fuck Cadillac. He committed suicide. That was his take on things. And hey, man, it is what it is. Uh, Everybody wants to be loyal to their friends and everything, but how does that work, man? Don't that work two ways? You know, wasn't it Cadillac's responsibility to be respectful of his homeboy and not to beat him down the way he did? That wasn't cool, you know. So you could see why Crowder might have caught feelings behind that shit, right? Okay, so let me go forward with this. Uh, let me just read it to you guys. So I actually just found this yesterday, man. I found it in I found this on the Jive Roberts. I found this on the internet yesterday when I was looking. This is from the Southern Poverty Law Center, and there's a picture. I don't know if you guys can see it. That's Jive Roberts. And Jive looks just like his father, man. His father's was name was Fox Roberts. They call him Fox. He got another brother called Popcorn. All right, Popcorn and my co-defendant were cell partners in Leavenworth, and it was a rough ride for both of them, man. They really they were involved in all sorts of drugs, getting high, selling drugs, shit like that. Anyway, to make a long story short, Popcorn had his old lady bringing him dope and shit, meth, and she would like bring it in religiously, and Popcorn was supposed to sell it and pay her rent, which he never did. So she kind of got pissed, and when she fixed up all the balloons, she took a little pin and stuck them in the balloons, and so that the meth was like, you know, entering into his bloodstream. And they say by the time he left the visiting room, he was lit like like he was really lit on that meth because it was a pretty big, dose. And I think that was the end of their relationship. Anyway, Jive, Fox, and Popcorn, and their mother's name was Marie. And Marie they called her Sticker because she sticks. She rides with a motherfucker. She was that kind of gal. Okay. Fox raised his sons to be gangsters. These guys were pretty fucking wild. Okay. They went to robbing banks. Uh, the son, the sons and the fathers together were out robbing banks. All over, and they ended up getting to a shootout in, I believe it was Houston, and with the police, and were sentenced to the federal prison system, and all three of them. And Jive I think he was in Atlanta first. His father Fox was in Marion, and then Popcorn was in Leavenworth, and then Marie would come to visit them every one of them, and she would bring them dope. She knew the score. She knew how to set it up. She had the balloons ready. She brought them in. Boom. Next one. One day she moved to the next joint, and then the next joint. She was a rider, homie. She was a fucking rider. These were like, these people were like, they were true to the cause, man. You know what I mean? What a crew, these people were. Anyway, let me read this to you. and this is about Jive Roberts. Apparently, he got out of the Fed system. He paroled out or maxed out. Don't really remember what his sentence was, but he got done with it. He was doing crazy shit. Him and John Greshner did some nutty shit. Well, oh man, wherever they were at in Marion, and yeah. So hopefully John will come on and tell the stories soon. But right now, I'm gonna read this to you. One of the senior leaders of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, a man who ordered murders and other acts of violence, seems certain to spend the rest of his life in prison. Charles Lee Jive Roberts, a 68-year-old Aryan Brotherhood of Texas general, was sentenced last week in the U.S. District Court in Houston to 30 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole. He pleaded guilty in May to conspiracy to participate in a racketeering enterprise, becoming the first leader of the white supremacist group to strike a plea bargain and avoid trial. Authorities say Roberts admitted he had killed 6 people on behalf of the gang in the year 2011. All right. And by the way, this was to avoid the death penalty. He did this. All right. His sentencing came after the U.S. Department of Justice prosecutors filed paperwork in mid-September indicating that he would not be seeking the death penalty against any of the 35 defendants indicted in the massive ABT case. And ABT is Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. Anyway, the Houston Chronicle reported that Roberts, already in failing health, now this was in 2013, by the way, stood in shackles and told the judge, "I am done. I am fixing to be taken out of the game. I have pulled the wagon as far as I can." I just want a decent place for my retirement, Roberts said during the court, asking the court to send him to a prison with a medical facility, the newspaper reported. "You give me 20 years, 30 years, life, I don't care," is what he says to the judge. "If you need to make an example of somebody, here I am." The judge, acknowledging that even a minimum term would basically be a death sentence for Roberts, said he had no choice but to sentence him to 30 years in prison because of his criminal history. Like I tell you, he was a wild kid, man. And he looks so much like his father. I mean, it's amazing, bro. Anyway, authorities say the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas has an estimated 2,500 members, members for life, who face death for not following orders or betrayal. The gang's roots go back to the early 1980s within the Texas prison system, where it was patterned after the precepts and writings of the Aryan Brotherhood, a California-based prison gang formed in the late 60s in the California prison system. An indictment returned last year says the ABT was concerned primarily with the protection of white inmates and white supremacy, but later expanded criminal enterprise to include illegal activities for profit beyond the prison walls. At last check, 8 of the 35 ABT members under indictment have entered guilty pleas, and prosecutors are preparing for trial for the others. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney in Houston was not available for comment because of the government shutdown or some shit. I don't know what that's about. Well, that's it. That's the story. You guys can probably dig in and find other articles. I did. There was a couple other articles. Very interesting, actually. Apparently, he was on the street when he was giving orders and shit for these murders. Uh, yeah, Jive was just. Yeah, ask anybody who knows him, man. He's just a wild fucking dude, man. Anyway, I don't know what I was planning to say today. I don't know if I was planning to talk about Jive or if I was going to tell you guys about, uh, you know, Big Al Benton. But that's on the agenda. I'm going to close this one down right now and like, subscribe, comment, reach out if you know anything about Jive or how he passed away uh, and where and when it happened. I appreciate you guys a lot and keep the peace. I'm out.